Africa has come a long way over the years, and we have so many reasons to celebrate and be proud of this beautiful continent, from the much-loved sounds of Amapiano to various literature, art and cultural experiences being shared throughout the world. So in celebration of Africa Day, we've invited Dr. Kunju from the University of Cape Town to talk us through some notable ways in which Africa has influenced the rest of the world. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back. You've been here a few years ago.
Yes, I have. Thank you very much for having me again.
So I'd love to ask you, as an African, I'm really, really proud to be African, but I'd love to know from you, what are some of the ways we've influenced the globe, like particularly in the last, I'd say, 10 to 20 years?
All right. Okay. Well, I'll start with maybe the music.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes, because Amapiano is very well known everywhere. The music is there, and I think the music has always been there.
Yes.
People like Miriam Makeba, Abu Brahim,
Hugh Masekela, yes.
And they've been all over the world and really influenced the world. And even currently, Abdullah Ibrahim, who's just had a tour in the country that I got to see some of his performances, is based in Germany, just because of the influence they have around the world. But also literature. If we're talking about people like Abu Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, and many others, and the ones that are still active as well, Abu Professor Zakes Mda, they've been also all around the world, really working in different parts of the world. And obviously, I will mention Professor Russell Kashula because he was my supervisor. He does many other things, but he also coined a term called technoricha. So he combined four words, which is technology, the orality and orality, the hearing and the talking, and then literature. And then when you combine all those, he came up with what he calls technoricha, which means we're looking at, because in our African literature used to be oral literature. But now, of course, things are changing. We're talking about the fourth industrial revolution, so which means we do need to take some of that orality and use technology to disseminate and distribute it. So, yes, that's what he calls it. And that is a term that's used all over the world, and a lot of scholars around the globe are using that term and researching all the oral literature that can now be transformed into digital, can be digitized. And especially now, I can struggle to count the number of things like audiobooks that are available in African languages. So it encompasses things like that. And obviously with the use of TikTok now, we can use our literature and disseminate it through that.
Aside from literature, aside from music, what else is exciting when it comes to Africa being represented globally?
Should we talk about renewable energy, despite that we have things called load shedding? There is the desert project, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing properly, which is based in the Sahara Desert, which was founded in 2003, which focuses on creating renewable energy for the whole world. So I think that's very, very exciting. And about a month ago in Namibia, they found an estimation of 10 billion barrels of oil in Mopane village in Namibia, and I think that's probably going to benefit the rest of the world, that amount of. So I think those are exciting things that makes our young people excited, know that we're not just here, but we are very globally engaged.
Yes. Yeah. What's your biggest sense of pride being African?
I
see that question lights you up.
Yes. I think Ubuntu goes a long way, and I think it's something that as African we take ownership in it, and I feel like I wish we could all take pride in it. So wherever we go, and not go and conform. When you go to Germany and then try to conform, I think you can go there, be the African, and still live within the parameters of Ubuntu. And I think that's one thing that sets us apart, the world, when it comes to humanity as Ubuntu.
That's beautiful.
Gumtu, Gabantu. That's the definition of
Umuntu,
Umtu, Gumtu.
which means?
Ngabantu. You are because
we are because of others.
Yes, of
beautiful.
Others. Yes.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
And then I want to ask you, because we've got, living in Africa, living in South Africa in particular, we've got this rich diversity of language. How is that impacting the rest of the world?
In many prominent universities in the world, there's an African languages department or an African studies. Yes, in Harvard. Harvard has an African languages department. They teach African languages there. Your Swahili, your isiZulu is there. In Boston University, and then the director there is Dr. Zoli Swamali from the Eastern Cape, from here, and is in Boston in the US.
Yes.
Teaching isiXhosa and isiZulu. And there's many more in Germany, Bayreuth University, Leipzig University, they all have this. And I think that comes from because of our multicultural and multilingual nature, because it's not just us. And I think we have a quite unique case, that we have all these languages, and I think the rest of the world wants to see how we approach that. And so I think that has influenced the rest of the world, because they want to see what we do in Africa, and they go and implement it as well. They also think of the mother tongue-based education that we talk about. So they look at what we do as well, and they try to implement it there as well.
I think if I were to sum all of this up, I'd say that I guess the rest of the world is beginning to realize that Africa is more than a continent, and that it's a feeling.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here. So John Hemingway once said, "If I've ever seen magic, it has been in Africa." I can't agree more. Let's take a moment to celebrate this marvelous continent that we call home. On social media, we would like to know from you, what is something that makes you proud to be South African? Leave your comments on our social media pages, and remember to use the hashtag Afternoon Express. Stay tuned, because after the break, we'll be making some healthy Ethiopian flatbread.